good morning, and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, Castbox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys, good morning, good night. Thanks for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Tino here. I'm hanging out with Steven. Steven, it's been a while since you and me have been on the same show, huh?
Ultraman was the last one.
I regret every bit of that because you were there.
Yeah, I had fun. I always do.
Actually, Ultraman was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that. And we've got a special guest today, third time on the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself because I don't feel like it.
It's your boy Kels, the Twitch streamer, Facebook guy, and nerd.
That guy we randomly share on social media. Yes, he is here to join us. I feel like we're the freaking hat brigade or something. Like it's just
I gotta get one of those.
Like this?
Yes.
Oh yeah, look at the bill, dude.
That is dope.
But I like your hat. A trade-off. We shall do a trade-off. Yeah, we're all wearing hats, nerd hats. This never happens. Kels is a nice Goku hat on. Well, really, it's not Goku, but I'm going to call it that because most people might not know what I'm going to say if I get into it. I've got your basic Avengers Marvel hat on, and Steven is wearing... Is that a Naruto hat, or did you happen to put the hidden leaf symbol over it, like a headband over the hat?
It's a Naruto hat. I'm not gonna go that far.
But you bought a life-size Keyblade.
Yeah, that thing's still... it's almost broken, but...
So don't come for Naruto fans. But anyways, to the point, thank you everybody who lasted the last 1 minute and 35 seconds, give or take, helping us filter through that. As promised, we are going to be talking about Endgame. It's like one of those things I don't want to talk about, but I want to talk about. This is going to be a spoiler episode. We did a part one that had no spoilers at all. So if you still haven't seen it, please do yourselves a favor, check it out, bodysnatchersmedia.com. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/bodysnatchersmedia. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're already here on YouTube. Thank you. But yeah, lots of spoilers today, and I'm ready to just kind of jump in and dive. And usually I don't like to talk about all aspects of the movie, but damn, this was a good movie. So, I mean, I'm kind of ready for anything. I took a lot of notes for minor details I may have forgotten. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I guess I'll pick up this conversation kind of where I left off on the last show, in that this movie, yeah, it's 3 hours long and all that, but it really hits the ground running, and I didn't expect that. By the way, spoilers, again. We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now.
Alert.
Big alert.
If they haven't seen the movie now, they're not going to see it.
Well, that's not true. Some people are waiting for... we're waiting for $5 Tuesday. Missed it. They're waiting for next $5 Tuesday.
That bin at Walmart where the $5 DVDs are.
They're good people, or they're waiting for the bootleg to hit the internet. Whatever the case may be, you're terrible people. Yeah, this thing getting started. I mean, it started off very, very aggressively. Did you guys expect them to find Thanos where they did on that planet?
Oh, what?
No, I was like, what the hell? He was just chilling.
We'll go before that cold open with Hawkeye. You gonna pass that up?
Man.
That was rough.
Only if you're willing to pass up Tony Stark being out in space, because that was amazing. So I'll tell you what. Let's start with that. So Tony is out in space with Nebula, and he's in pretty bad shape. He's like literally probably hours away from death. And I just thought it looked so good when they, eventually rescue him, and, building up to that, like all the emotions that you feel where he's, talking to his significant other, just, into the camera. And he's like, I don't know if you're ever going to hear this, but I feel this way about life and that way. And I did the best I could. And it starts to bring a lot out of you right away. And then when they finally, rescue him, he runs into Captain Marvel and she brings him back to Earth. I loved the breakdown that he has because he's sickly. He's got, nothing left. He's just scrawny, like somebody going through chemo or something like that. It's very emotional just to see him in that state. It looked good. And, he just has a huge breakdown because, Cap is like, all right, guys, we're going to, another hoorah. We get together, we make it happen. And Tony's like, not with it. He's defeated. He's lost. And the breakdown that he had was moving to me.
It made total sense because like losing for like really like the first time officially, it's like that was a bad one. I can understand where he came from too. It's like I couldn't get mad at Cap for not having a bad reaction because he felt it too.
He did. He really did. He was trying to be Mr. Optimistic, and as much as I appreciate that, I felt everything Tony was saying. He was like, "Nah, man, it's it's what can we do now? What can we do?" Steven,
Yeah,
care to chime in?
Well, he already gave up. He went crazy, and it just the best part was when he took out the core and he gave it to Captain America. When he took out his
The arc
little
reactor.
yeah, and he gave it to Steve Rogers, and then he
Said,
collapsed
"You save him." Ugh.
because you knew he already gave up on that ship. Then he got saved, and now he's just bitter old skinny man.
It was moving when he ripped out the arc reactor. Like I was like, "This is real, real."
I didn't know it came out like that. What is it, magnets?
And
yeah, I guess so.
little pop and twist. No, I mean, I thought that was pretty dope. But then, I don't think anybody thought that they were immediately going to fly over to a remote planet where Thanos is chilling and he's got no security or anything. I don't
By
think
himself, just a lonely old farmer, just mind his own business.
that man was buck ass naked in the kitchen cooking breakfast out on like a plantation like setup, just minding his own goddamn business.
And that all happened in 5 minutes. They're like, we got to find Thanos. And then Nebula was like, he always used to tell me where he'd be. Then they find the planet. Then they find one heat signature. And then you got Captain Marvel. You got a healthy Thor. You got everyone except Tony Stark. And of course, all the dust people aren't there. So they find him, and Thanos is all banged up. It shows him like making tea or something. Like, what Shrek does before he found Fiona, just like making soup over an open fire. And you can see his arm all banged up, all like from using a gauntlet. And when they find him, they just rush in and they start beating him up. And he's weak. He's just all beat up. He's scarred up. He's burnt. And it goes to show that he destroyed the stones with the stones. So he knew that they were going to come back and jack him up, the people that didn't get erased. So the stones are gone, and they ran out of options when he said that.
I did know that was going to come. Like I figured they were going to do that. It made sense. Wasn't surprised by him destroying the stones with the stones.
They had to have. It was moving way too fast.
But irrelevant to anything important. Did you guys see the video meme where they were like, "This is how Thanos was when the Avengers rolled up on him," and they showed the clip of that dude from school, and they were like, "Fight back, fight back!" And it was like a whole squad of dudes.
Oh, that fat kid! That fat kid! Oh, that was awesome.
He didn't even do anything. He was just like,
"Oh my god!"
open and everything. Like,
I was in tears. And I not only did they find him with no defenses, but like he had no fight in him. He was like, "I won, so do what you got to do." And like they took him out quickly. Almost too quickly. Like it was just weird.
Yeah.
But
I was like, really?
It was very abrupt, and it was like a swing, boom, his head's gone. And you're looking, and it's only like 15 minutes into the entire movie. You have no idea what they're going to do for the rest of the movie.
Well, what I wasn't expecting, but what made for a really good film was this like emotional ripple effect, because after that they do a time jump. I think it was 5 years, and just to see like Thor, for instance, I know we'll get to him in a minute, but like he reflects on like killing Thanos, and it's just kind of crazy to see how he is 5 years later. Because a warrior, the way we always know Thor is like he doesn't have regrets for killing people. Like he does what he does and he moves about his business. But this time he did it, and it was just like too easy. He had no satisfaction. It was almost as if cutting off his arm and then his head with the squad like was haunting him at this point. Because there was
he wanted that challenge. He was like, "Yo, this is too easy. My people died for this. What?"
Well, he, in his defense, he did get on Fortnite and look for a new challenge.
Yeah, you're right. Noob Slayer 69 or something like that.
That whole scene was just great. Did you guys mind the fact that they made him fat?
No, I didn't mind it. I was like, "Yo, this guy is living life right now."
He looks so happy. That's Steven.
I didn't like how he eventually didn't come back to his proud self. It's not that big of a deal, but I would have preferred him to be, Thor, the guy that we seen at the end of Infinity Wars. But you needed him to kind of act like that, looking like the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
because
I immediately thought of that.
all through it, you needed him to have like all these like social problems, anxiety, and stuff like that. Because you got to remember, because it's a long movie, you got to remember that all of these guys they lost.
Well, I think that's what made it so good, though, especially with Thor. Because he didn't have a lot of screen time in Infinity War as far as like character development or building, So the last time we really saw anything from him was in Ragnarok. And you guys already know I was like Ragnarok was good, but it annoyed me because I thought it was a laugh factory. I think they just overdid it a little too much for some times when they shouldn't have.
I agree, felt forced.
But I mean, with this one, like it brought you back to Thor, having like this humanistic side where he's like reflecting on his past love and like how it didn't work out. He's never really talked about that. They brought that to a head. He talked about how he wasn't able to save his mother, and then when they do the time jump and he has to see her and visibly talk with her, that was like a hard scene to digest because what was it, at the end of Dark World his mom died, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, but it was kind of a quick scene. Like it was emotional, but it happened very, very fast. So for him to reflect on how it made him feel and then actually get the chance to have this conversation with his mother where it's like on the tip of his tongue where he just wants to tell her like what's going to happen, and he's like so violent.
Fumble.
Yeah, my phone just fell.
Jeez, what do you have, like a Nokia from '95? That sounded massive.
Sounded like a
Yeah,
brick
that was
falling.
my Note 9. I'm sorry. I thought I had it. No.
Professionalism at its finest. But but no, I mean, I don't know. That for me that just meant like a lot. I don't know what you guys took from that with Thor's development specifically. How did you feel in comparison to Infinity War now?
Well, like I said, I understand why he needed to look the way he did. And it's not like we weren't short on any heroic characters. It's just he was a slob. Thor was a slob.
I mean, it didn't
I
really.
can totally understand.
I don't think it took anything away though. I don't like
No,
for me at
of course
all.
not.
Because
beard
made up for it.
I know we're jumping around, but there's this scene where Thanos is on top of Thor, and Thor looks tired because of the way he looks, and he can't fight Thanos off. So now, I remember back when I asked Tino who's stronger, and this is before Captain Marvel came out. Who's stronger, Thor or Captain Marvel? I believe he leaned towards Thor more, right?
Thor could fold Captain Marvel any day of the week.
In the cinematic universe, Captain Marvel was just times stronger than Thor. At least in this fight and this movie, she brought it.
She really only bum rushed him with her special attack like twice, and it was not very effective, as the people at Pokemon would say.
Thanos' ship was shooting everyone, and then they started shooting Captain Marvel.
They were like, "Boy, let's go." What is that?
So I don't know. How did you guys like the scene with Clint? Because a lot of people were giving him a hard time when we didn't really see anything about the movie, with him and having his head shaved, on the sides, and they're like, oh, okay, he's a hipster now. And I didn't really know how to take it at first, but when they show him, like trying to be outside of what's going on with Infinity War, and he's just enjoying this time with his family, and of course it's like overly top cheesy, where they're out there and he's showing his daughter how to shoot the bow and arrow, and they're playing catch with the boy, and they're just having a nice picnic, and then they just disappear, and he just like that was it. That was his whole world, and it was just gone. And you watch that man break, and he became badass. Like for a human with no abilities outside of just what a human is capable of. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And totally. This was the first scene. This was before the logo. This came right after a preview. It's just him with his family, and then boom, the snap happens, and him becoming a lost vigilante. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked his get up too. It was really like over the top, costumey.
It felt like a white version of Blade.
Yeah, he had that sword, that cool sword.
I was like, oh shit. I mean his family died. I was like, yo, I expected it. It's like, I don't care.
Dude, I don't care. Not only did he have a cool sword, he slit somebody's throat. How badass was that?
Right.
No chill.
Nah, he was chilling, man. But now I guess we're kind of touching base on a little bit of this and that, and that's fine. But the whole premise of this movie, so basically they find a way to potentially go back in time and get Infinity Stones from another timeline, bring them back to their timeline, and a chance to correct the wrongs that have been done by Thanos. And I didn't think that Tony, through the way that they were able to do it with him finding a way to go back in time, I thought the way that was done was really, really fun. with Hulk trying to help out. I love the Hulk and Banner combination that reminded me a lot of like that Gray Hulk where he like has the power and the brains. Like it was just fun to me. But being a fan of these movies since '08 and seeing them go back to every single movie that revolved around the main Avengers team, like that was breathtaking. I love that every bit of it. Well, I shouldn't say every
I'm
single movie, but
surprised
yeah,
that they pulled it off. They looked amazing. It looked like they were like still in the same movie from years ago, as if nothing like was recorded.
just another
Absolutely.
angle, deleted
Yeah.
scenes or something. Yeah, it was perfect. So I was just curious, what you guys thought about that whole time travel plot, and we can save discrepancies towards the end because I'm sure everybody has them on their mind, with the way the movie ended. But just curious.
They couldn't have done it any better. And this is how I explain it to people is like they have all these questions about time travel, and every show and every movie is going to have their own concept of it. But the simplest way to put it is, say you got two timelines, this guy comes over here and goes forward, and he just stops right here because he left this party, he's at this party now, and he's going along. So they're like, oh, this guy died here, but he's still over here. No, this is they're going at the same length. So when this guy left, he never came back. He has to come back.
Right.
So it was easy to understand, which makes it easier to enjoy. Whenever they would go to a place, they would come back. What we'll talk about more at the end, the aspect of time travel, but there was no better way to do it. And I think this movie needed everything as simple as possible because it was so long. When you have a movie that's so long and things start getting complicated, like me, I'll leave. I'll go to sleep. I'll just go, because if it's too jumbled, it's going to make me stop caring. It's going to make me start stressing, and then I'm going to go. But with this movie, it doesn't happen because you don't even have time to go to the bathroom in this thing. I didn't go.
No.
You said it. Yeah, Tino, you said in the last show, you didn't go.
I couldn't do it.
My wife went twice, and when she came back, she was asking me questions because it happened so quick. There's so much they got to put into this movie.
Exactly. And well, to be fair, I said I used the bathroom before the show twice.
Doesn't count.
Okay, well, just making sure that you're listening and paying attention to what you're listening to. So, how did you guys feel about that moment? That this was a big issue some years ago where, off the top of my head, I forget which comic it was, but it was the one where Captain America turned out that he was an agent for Hydra. And then they brought that.
I remember that.
They rolled it back. But remember, people lost their shit. They absolutely went bananas. And, obviously, it didn't stick that way. If you continue to read the whole story, he's still Cap. We love him for the most part. But the fact that they brought that in, like they touched base on that elevator scene from years ago where he whooped everybody down to nothing and then avoided all of that just to, have him say Hail Hydra. Like I was so happy. It was a scene I didn't know I needed.
It was definitely needed because I remember that whole controversy, and when he said that, I'm like, I see what they did. And they all just stopped like, okay.
Man, like ideas were going. I feel like the directors couldn't have possibly thought of all this stuff on their own. I feel like they probably were like just in forums with fan theories and they're like, oh, that one's good. And like just went through and kind of made their own thing because it's just, I wasn't expecting any of what we got. I just really wasn't, man. Happy all the way over. And then like Tony's time slip when he goes back and meets his dad, and they have like a conversation about children that how they're both expecting, and it just my heart.
There was a lot of scenes like that, especially everyone that I'm pretty sure that everyone that's watching this movie, you're invested 10 years, 11 years since 08, right? You're invested this whole time. Now everything's coming together and you're finally seeing it. There's at least 10 moments that pulls on your heartstrings, and then there's all this comedy, and then there's all this action. There's like 5 major action scenes in this movie, and not the like Captain America fighting Captain America after that elevator scene. Yeah. That was pretty good. That was a good exchange.
This is the ass of America.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, it is very firm. Pause, no homo.
He's like, the good part was he's like, I could do this all day, and the other captain's like, I know.
That was great. I don't know if you guys want to get to end material yet, or do you want to wait a little bit? Because there's still quite a bit that we could talk about.
This is a massive movie that just whatever comes to your mind, bounce around. Let's get it.
What about the when Tony's talking to his dad, and yeah, it's super emotional, and they're making fun of his beard and his weird hippie beard. They go to give each other. Well, no, his father goes to shake his hand, and Tony goes in and gives him a hug, which was like, I don't know, like funny but also adorable, because
It was.
what's really happening. But then when Jarvis starts talking and is like, come along, Mr. Stark, or whatever, and I was like, oh my god. And I'm not a big Agents of Shield fan. Sorry,
The series, right?
the series. I don't have
Okay.
a lot of knowledge surrounding that show, but I have been informed that Jarvis is at times has been like a reoccurring character in there. So for those people, it wasn't a shock, but for us, we were like, oh my god, what is this? That makes so much sense with the AI. Tony's daddy issues caused him to build a robot that talks to him in his butler's voice. That's weird, but I liked it. I understood it. So
He was always there for him.
The Marvel Alfred.
Pretty much, it seems.
He was like,
Yeah.
my boy isn't even born yet, and I already know that I would do anything for him. And I was like, stop, please stop. Okay, I mean, so yeah, guys, I mean, whatever you want, bring it up, because if not, I'm getting ready to start talking about end stuff.
Captain
Yeah.
America, we got the hammer.
Oh, that's end stuff. We're gonna
that
get to that.
End stuff. All right,
That-
what? We're here. Captain America holding Mjolnir and wielding it the way that he did. I knew he was going to hold it. I wasn't surprised. I didn't expect him to also be able to summon lightning. And the thing is because if you think about the wording and the context, his father whispers into it, whoever holds the hammer shall be worthy, of the powers of Thor. Not like whoever's worthy can hold the hammer. And I think all of us forgot that because we were so used to them just picking it up. So when I'm like, oh, he's holding it and swinging it. And then he's like, and also I'm going to fly and also summon this lightning multiple times.
I sat to the front of my seat. I was like,
that was probably, if not my favorite part, one of my favorite parts. And it's weird because I was in a chat and someone had a theory to where in the Age of Ultron, where everyone's lifting it up and it budges a little bit, that Steve Rogers backed off on it because of how insecure Thor is. And he has his shield, so he wants Thor to have his hammer, so he didn't want to make any waves, so he just put it back down because he's such a nice guy, which was pretty cool. But we were talking in the earlier part of the show, we were talking about Thor being a slob, and Thanos is just, he's on him, and he has a Stormbreaker close to Thanos's. I think it does touch his leather armor, and then the camera cuts to the hammer lifting up a little bit, which makes you think he's going to summon it. It's going to knock Thanos out, and then, he's going to start swinging it. But you see Captain America holding it, and then they actually let you experience him using it, and he uses it so well between the shield and the hammer.
It was so good. Like, he just was fluent. Like, it was like perfect for him, and the way he was just moving with it and doing the lightning and everything.
Right,
I was like, oh my god.
Thunder was cracking, and he's throwing the shield, he's throwing the hammer, and Thanos is getting pushed back by someone who in Infinity War he got cracked. He got that 5-finger discount.
Pause. I'm gonna need you to stop coming for Thor so aggressively, man. You keep calling him sloppy and weak, and that ain't got shit to do with it. Because in the last movie, he was in tip-top shape in the first 5 minutes and got folded. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was enjoying beer and pizza and Fortnite. You stop.
and then in the middle of battle, Steve Rogers gets Stormbreaker, and Thor gets his hammer, and then he wants to trade him because Stormbreaker's bigger. He's like, you get the little one, I'll use the big one.
Yeah. That was perfect. I really liked the rescue, seeing Gwyneth Paltrow come through as rescue. Because Steven, you may not be familiar with the term rescue, but that's like basically the original female Iron Man. I don't know.
No,
I
think I seen the suit in Superior Iron Man.
I can't remember if Rescue was in Superior Iron Man, or if it might have just been a female Iron Man suit. I can't remember, but there's tons of variations of Rescue. Rescue's always been super popular. I think they hinted at Rescue in Iron Man 3, like one of those deals where she kind of had the helmet on, or she wore one of the suits for like a little bit, but this was different. This time she had all the bells and whistles, like this image behind me, with Iron Man, the way he was looking in Endgame, like she had everything that he had, all those options.
That shit was dope. Like, I was just like, bro. Bro.
And when she got up and was fighting beside, it was like a slow motion scene, and they had Okoye and like Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel. Like that had to be like one of the sexiest, strong, superhuman. Not even just honestly, not even just with women, but just superhero moments ever. I don't know what it was about it, but just something was like breathtaking. I think it is because it was all women. It was like it was very strong, and it wasn't like overly sexualized by any means. Like it was just dope. It wasn't like Gal Gadot where she's like, "Look how sexy I am in this armor that barely covers anything." It was a different type of
Ooh.
sexy. Yeah,
Hiding a sword in her crack.
yeah, right. Shots fired.
Yeah.
It just looked so good. Like I hope that somebody does some artwork for that. I mean, I'd pay for that and hang that on my wall. I don't know. It just looked dope, and like I just got so excited because that was just a few minutes into the scene where everybody's like breaking through and coming back. Where
Right.
where
On your left. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what? And then all the portals came out. I was like, I felt like a little kid when that happened.
Right, the music hits and everything.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I like Thanos in here more than I liked him in Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Just how tough he was. He's like, I was thinking about taking half of existence or life forms or whatever, but I think I'm gonna take it all and just rebuild. And then he picks up his sword and he just charged. He had like a double bladed like Darth Maul's lightsaber. It was just a double bladed spinny.
And he was so strong. Like it
Oh.
was just like regardless without the Infinity Stones.
When he was ripping apart Captain America's shield,
man,
that was rough. You felt him hit. He was just swinging away on that.
But can we talk about how gangster Thanos is for leaving his timeline, going to the new timeline, doing all the shit that he did, sitting down, knowing that they had all the Infinity Stones basically, and just sat his ass down outside and was like,
waiting.
"Come out here if you want the smoke." Put his weapon down and was just like, "I'm here. Approach me."
I came to Styria.
That was such a cool visual to where he's sitting there and then like 50 feet away, there was Thor, Captain America, and Tony Stark just watching each other. And Thanos is just sitting there waiting.
It's like they came through with the spaceship and blew their shit up. It's literally the equivalent of doing a drive-by and then standing outside the house waiting, because you didn't get everybody. So you're like, "It was me. Come on, let's end this." Jesus. Yeah, it felt like a gangster movie, but go on.
So I don't know how much time we have, and this will probably be the last thing I ask. What happened to Gamora? Because she never came back from the dead. She came from the past to the future or present, however you look at it. And towards the end, you see Star-Lord looking for her, like searching. So did she disappear with a snap? Did she go back to her own time? Did she just walk away?
I think.
Well, she died a natural death. Technically, they didn't wish anybody back who did, like Vision, for instance, didn't come back.
Right. Whoever was sacrificed for the Soul Stone couldn't come back. They made that clear. But then Gamora came back, and then she kicked Star-Lord in the nuts, and then that was her last scene, I think. So it doesn't make sense because towards the end he's searching for her.
That was Gamora from a different timeline.
Yes, it was a different timeline. Gamora, the one that they were in, she's still dead, but she came from the one with Thanos.
So what happened to her? Did she go back? What?
Well,
they didn't explain it, right?
The movie ended
like, "Hey guys, I'm going back now."
Right. So there's no closure there, which is good because there's going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy. But
we'll figure it out. I mean, I would assume that the Gamora from that timeline is probably going to stay in this timeline, just because of everything that went down with her sister, and Thanos is gone now. She really has no purpose unless she were to hang out in her other timeline until she meets Peter and all that. But she just met him, might as well stay, because sub in for the original, and then it might make for like weird conversation where they're where he reminisces on feelings and things that they used to have, and she's like, "I don't have those. I just met you. Chill." So
this is crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be in the third one.
Has to be, absolutely has to be. So we'll see. But before we close this up, because we have talked about it a lot, we didn't really talk about Scarlett Johansson dying, because does anybody care? She's hot, but like, I mean,
I wasn't expecting it to.
I love the way she died.
I
as
like
sexist as that sounds.
I liked it too. She didn't really prepare like everybody else. Like Clint was like, blood is on my hands. I'm ready for war. She was like not even at the gun range like I thought she was going to be, which was kind of like whack. Like she was just holding it down, becoming Nick Fury, sitting in in an office. So
Yeah, it's her and Hawkeye. They got to go back and get the Soul Stone, and when they get there, they're like, you got to sacrifice someone you love, and they're like, well, they love each other, they're BFFs, so they're trying to convince the other person that they want to sacrifice themselves. So I think Natasha starts running, he trips her, then he starts running, then she shoots him, and they go back and forth all the way over the cliff until she gets a grappling gun through his belt, and he has no choice but he's latched onto that mountain, and she just slips off. Like he has her wrist, and she just releases and lets go.
yeah,
That was cool.
but I was
I
okay
was
with it.
like, I mean, she's giving back to her family, so I understood that. I was like, oh, I respect her now.
Yeah,
So
that standalone movie wasn't going to do that good anyways. So
No. I mean, it's not even taking shots at like her or the character itself. It's just I don't think it would have been that interesting as a standalone. Like maybe if they did like an Agents of Shield movie and they had like a little something else to kind of carry and feel the fire. But I mean, at this point, there's like way too much going on. They missed their chance. That should have came out before they had Black Panther and Captain Marvel. You know what I mean? Like you see all this crap, and then they're like, all right, guys, and now we've got Scarlett Johansson with a gun.
So we all got closure from this movie. We're all okay with it.
I'm pretty much okay with it. My only discrepancy was with the end, but I heard an interesting theory. So when Captain America, goes back in time to, return the stones, and then he never comes back and he just appears as an old man, that kind of bugged me for a little bit. And it's totally open to interpretation. Like a lot of people are probably complaining about it, but here's the theory that I heard that I liked, and I haven't thought too deep into it because I honestly don't want to. I got shit to do. But in thinking about it, what they basically said was, remember the movies where Captain America first met like Peggy again, like later in life, like where she's like older and
Right.
He's like heartbroken and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a whole bunch of shots. And I remember seeing it, and somebody brought up, a bunch of old photos and stuff in this forum I was looking at, where there's no man in any of the photos. Like there's no husband. There's nothing there. She's got all this family, but there was never anybody. Even in her younger pictures, it's her and the kids. Nobody's there. So the theory goes that Steve went back. They had like a romantic night or whatever. Like, he got her pregnant. She had kids or whatever. And then he came back to this timeline to do what he needed to do as Captain America. And then after X amount of time went by, so all like during this timeline, he's not there, and she knows that he's gone. She's the only one that knows. So she's been raising the family privately and just doing what she does. And then he returns to her someday in the future so that he can live out the rest of his days. That was the theory that somebody had brought to me, and I just was like, I really like that. Can't say if it makes the most sense, but it's a movie. It's not gonna be perfect. Just curious what you guys thought, or if you heard anything similar.
Never seen him talking to his kids.
No.
Daddy's got to work. I get it. Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes, man. Tony hung around for 5 years because that little daughter that they gave him was like, oh my god.
Would you rather him give the shield to Bucky? Are you one of those, or are you satisfied?
It was supposed to be Bucky and then him, but okay, let's sped it up, man.
Well, yeah, both of them have held the mantle of Captain America in the comics, but I was fine with it. Honestly, I think Bucky probably would have made more sense if you're trying to have almost the exact same type of Captain America. Well, but hold on, for Bucky, his hands are dirty. You know what I mean? It just didn't feel right to me for on screen, in that universe. I'd rather have Falcon get it than Bucky, who, granted, it's not his fault. We know that, but his hands are still, they got blood on them.
Public doesn't know that it's not his fault. He's a terrorist. He's a bad guy to anyone that doesn't know what's going on.
That's racist.
Oh, he's white.
Oh, carry on, then.
He's a white boy. But yeah, he walks around with that shield, and everyone's going to know what he did, and it's just going to be a mess. It's going to cause a divide.
I could see that, which is why I was okay with it. So
yeah,
I'm fine. but I was bawling like a little baby. Like I had many tears. I shouldn't say I was bawling, but I legitimately did have tears, and that's weird because I'm not a very emotional person. Because Iron Man has been Robert Downey Jr. He's been the GOAT like the whole time. I've been one of the biggest Iron Man fans, and like when they brought that on screen in 2008, every show, every movie that came out, like I made it there, the night before the release. Like I absolutely loved it. All his mannerisms, how witty he was. It was more than just cool effects. Like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. So when you see him fighting Thanos, he looks at Doctor Strange and he's like, all right, is this the one? That kind of gives him a look, and he's like, yeah. And he ends up tackling him, and they're going back and forth, and then his nanotech steals the stones, and you see him go up his arm and form, and it's like you already knew, because the most durable people for those stones are Thor and Hulk. And Hulk just had on a gauntlet that they made, and things, he was barely hanging on with his regeneration ability. So you knew, like, as soon as I saw him going up, I was like, Tony's gonna snap, and that's it. And he did.
It made it worse because they gave him a daughter in this movie, which I loved.
I did too.
I love you 3000. I was like,
but a
3000. I was like,
great movie. But great movie. Love this movie. I'm gonna see it 10,000 times more.
Again, Iron Man's my favorite dude too, and War Machine, yeah. But it's just like, wow, I'm gonna keep on watching it. I didn't cry or anything, but it was probably because of the realization that it's done. I'm like the Pikachu meme, like it's ridiculous. Great movie though, no complaints.
All right, man. Well, I guess it's time to wrap things up. So, any last words you guys want to add?
If you haven't seen a movie, you should probably watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it.
I agree. Anything else?
Nope.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/bodysnatchersmedia, or head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com and add us on the audio podcast. So for me, Steven, and Ethan, have a good night.
Take care.